Welcome to Virtual Natural Balance Masterclass. Welcome, Cole. Welcome, Sarah Jean. My name is Neal, and Neal's a word. Neal's not who I am. Neal exists inside of who I am. So you might be like asking yourself, well, like, all right, well, if you're not your name, well, who am I? Well, who I am is a multi-dimensional, infinite spiritual being that's expressing through a human body. And when I just recently gave an invitation for this master class, like I realized like even that is a construction in language that could literally be put on a sticker and stuck on a window. Like, take for example your bathroom mirror window. You have, I am a multi-dimensional spiritual being having a human experience, and so with having that there, it's like, yes, that's words, and there's like this thing that's beyond what those words like are. It's the thing that those words are pointing at, but need to be transcended to like literally access the origin of where they're coming from. And this origin is, I'm calling this God. You could call it source. It's the ultimate completion. And so how is it possible to come from completion? And is that like our natural state? And if so, is it something we decide? Do we make a commitment? Like, do we commit to coming from completion? Or do we let go of our programming and naturally come from it? And so I'll pause there.
Why why do you think it's like important for you to like express that like every time you introduce yourself?
Um, to point towards our infinite nature as recognition of uh, being more than the physical vessel. Um, so like how to interact in this, in virtual and physical natural balance masterclass. Please interrupt. I invite this. Um, you can you can share by raising your physical hand. You can just pick up a mic and share. If you're online, if we do have people online, there's also a virtual hand option. I'll pause there. I see you have some inspiration. Are you feeling something, Sarah Jean?
Yeah, the question you had said a question about completion. Is that our natural state? Um, is it a natural state? Yes. And I think that there's barriers and there's ego and there's conditioning that we've all been through that distort that natural state. And so I think we're all transcending those and aware of those. Like, I still get angry at times, and there's just moments that I get angry, and there's returning to the completion. Yeah, and I feel like it's necessary. I feel like we all went through those things for a specific purpose, to be together and transcend them together. And there's like a perfect timing for all of it that's going to happen. And I'm complete with knowing that, but there's also this unfinished business that's going on, you know? And so the more that I can surrender, the more that I can sit in the seat of awareness of what's unfolding and not try to meddle and do less, is where completion happens.
When I like reflect inside, like on like how you just spoke to that, the that I felt was this like recognition of like it, like completion is inherent, like it's natural, and but it's not static. It's like the that I had this like acknowledgement of like truth, and it was like that the completion, uh, God, love, infinite connection, source, whatever name you want to put to it, is a like there is a constant, and the constant is that, and then there's the constant flow also, which I think could be like, and possibly this is discernment, but possibly it's my opinion that the flow is the Holy Spirit. That is the thing in motion, that when we tap into that, by letting go of these perceptions and expectations and opinions and my truths, by joining that flow through letting the other programming, like releasing that, then that is a state of just joining the completion that's happening. So, and my point is that it's in motion. It's like, because like when I hear the word completion, it sounds like stationary, um, and and now I acknowledge that it is an unfolding, uh, and it's always available. And we don't see it because of distorted perception, but when that's cleared, then it's obvious.
When you were talking about like the letting go of perspectives or perceptions or any of those things, preferences or whatnot, like what came to me is like, I don't know if it's a letting go. I think it's an allowing for them to be there and not trying to like eradicate it or dispel it or like make them go away. They're present. It's like, hey, I've got a preference here, but you know, and I'm going to be with my experience of it. I think it's just a recognition. I think everything just wants to be recognized. Like whenever I'm witnessed or seen, like there's nothing quite like that feeling, like for my soul, you know, like when somebody sees you. And so like, I feel like that's what we've all been wanting or trying to get to, and it's always been here. And that's the completion part, that like, it's when you can just be with everything that arises and love it. Like I'm a whole complete being right now. I've got all my fingers, all my toes, you know, I've got my nose, and I'm a whole being. Though the completion happens when I'm present to what's happening at this exact moment. And just being with it.
Yeah, it's basically being like whole and complete within yourself and realizing that all you need is within you, like right now. And I guess it'll always be like that. Do you have any like perspective on that? Like as like a multi-dimensional, infinite spiritual being? Like, is that like is that like you think that's how it always will be? Or like always has been?
Like, I hear your question. Can you like refine it more?
Yeah, like do you think that's how it will be for like eternity? Like for I guess for your soul.
That I think the multi-dimensional aspect of who I am involves the expectations and the perceptions and the opinions and the my truths, and I think when I'm speaking of completion, it is like um, the it is transcendent of that multi-dimensional nature. Like you're in where I'm speaking from, like you're still aware that you're like a point of awareness, but you're merged with uh, like God, and you could also like I also see it as being merged with like the body of Christ, and so like and that is being merged with God. Like, so at that point, I think there's a transcendent of the multi-dimensional experiences or the perceptions or the opinions. Like, I think that is completion that in eternity it's already done, but in time we're like moving towards it. So that's what I see with your question.
What do you think happens like after you die?
I think that it's a shift in perspective. Like if I was looking here, you'd call that alive, and then the physical body passes, and now I'm looking here. And so,
Think you like get another physical body?
I'm open to this, but I don't know. I'm also open to the idea of. I'm also open to the idea of these physical bodies transforming and being more of a crystalline nature, where we'd by being 100% responsible and being surrendered and being in alignment, like possibly we don't need to physically pass this vessel. I'm also open to this. Like there's
Like you think we keep the physical body like into like
and have it possibly transform into crystalline or some
Glorified
other
body.
structure,
like a
glorified
globular
body, yes.
like crystalline
Like I'm
matrix like kind of like a like translucent almost.
yes. So I'm open to this also. Like I think this is the truth and is gonna be for some people, but I just I don't know like but
So
I'm
do
an
you think
amazing receiver, so like I would love to receive
so like my past life,
a
right?
different
Like when
body.
before I was here, I'm like wondering if like this physical body, like what kind of body I had in my past life, you know? Like if like I'm like in eternity, it's like
You were probably a little girl.
that's what I'm wondering. Like was I like can you change gender?
Yes.
Cause that would fucking suck.
It's probably why you still act like her.
No, I mean when you look at it in terms of eternity, like this life is a blip. It's like a vapor. So it's like man, in like the big like expanse, like the big scheme of things, like it's like, yeah, it's kind of wild to think about, actually.
What is your thoughts on surrender?
I think it's the only key home. I think it's only through continual surrender that you actually have the experience of being complete.
Okay, and then, but how does one do that? Like, what are they surrendering, and what are they surrendering to? And
Please.
I was actually just gonna ask this question about that. Like, I was curious about what you're asking about, and it's like, is surrender like, is that like a choice, or do you think that's like predestined too?
it's a choice.
Yes, I think it's a
Like,
choice for
like,
sure.
like I would definitely like perceive that it's a choice, but do I know that for a fact? I don't know. Like, no, I don't. And like, it's like God's divine plan, right, for my life. And I don't know how much of that, like, I willingly had a choice. Like, I felt like I had the perceived, like, I had the perceived, like, free will that I did make that choice or whatever. But, like, there's no way I can be sure of that, you know? And so, what was your question again? Oh, yeah, what is surrender and what are you surrendering to?
Yes.
Um, well, in my perception, surrender is just like dying, basically, like who you're not dying, and giving up like control over your own life, and basically um, realizing that you basically don't have any control of your own life, and like just like realizing that, and then be like, holy fuck, and then just like it's like letting go, and it's like getting just pulled towards this thing, and like you're just being moved, and like you're just like what Neal said, we're like merging towards like whatever that is, you know, like being like awakening out of like, yeah, like awakening towards God. So it's like, it's basically just like you're on this journey and you're like, oh fuck, like I'm not driving, basically. Having that realization. That's what I think. I don't know.
Do you have an experience of where you felt surrender?
Like right now, like, yeah, just like real. I don't know. Like, um, yeah, just basically like, man, I'm fucking tired of like trying to fucking have things my way, and just like, fuck it, like I don't want it anymore. And um, yeah, just like damn, I can't do this on my own. Like I'm fucking exhausted. I'm tired of like trying to get like what I want like egoically, and like thinking like I have to, like I'm living from like a survival state of like thinking I'm on my own basically, and then but then waking out of that and realizing like I'm being directed by God, and like I can literally just like fucking let go and like receive, and like I'll be okay, basically.
Do you have one, Neal?
Yeah, I got many. Uh,
Give us a juicy one.
with surrender, it's like recognizing the divinity in everything, and with surrender, with continual surrender, there's a recognition that of oneness. It's like Yes, obviously, I'm like beyond what I can see as the physical vessel. And so I'm like surrendering the perception that I can't even control, because I'm actually like more than this physical vessel. So if I think I'm just like controlling this physical vessel, it's like that's like such a uh, like perception that it's a misperception. That's a perception of individuation, which is it's true in time, but in truth it's not true. And so it's like, so that's surrender. So it's like now seeing like this little thing that I think I have control of, like there's like way more than what this thing is. So I'm just so leaving that there. Um, Now with the example, one that's occurred since I've been here in the village was with the tilapia pond that's by Ocho right now. So the original design of that was plastic, and then it got changed to cement, and um, and then even the timeline in which it got accomplished, like was changed, and so um, at any one of those crossroads, there was this moment of surrender. There was this moment of like, this is how I saw it was going to be. This is my expectation, but it's now literally no longer looking like that. This is how it's actually going to be. And if I don't accept how it's actually going to be, then like I can put myself in resentment and resistance, and which is the opposite of surrender. It's like seeing things as being wrong, as being individuated, but like no, there's divinity in this thing changing, like, and that's the surrender part. I got another example. So, do you want to hear it? All right. So, the other example is like I had these two bananas on the table on the porch of Casona, which is the home where I'm living at, and like I like having fruit in the evening, and I go up there and like one of them's just like gone. I'm like, dang, somebody ate one of my bananas. and But that's the misperception. It's not my banana. It's not my banana. It's God ate that banana. Uh, it's seeing the divinity. It's like acknowledging this isn't an individuated thing. Like this is purposeful and what's going on inside. And oh oh, we'll just leave that there. Oh.
Oh.
So yeah, those are examples that I have of surrender. Like it is literally the key to accessing God, like literally.
I like how you said like surrender is literally the only way home. Like, and you're going home to yourself pretty much, you know? Like that's like you're returning home like to the heart. And yeah. It's kind of wild. It's like yeah.
It's quite funny how the ego gets really upset when it doesn't get its way. And it doesn't even know until something shows up that you have to surrender to. It's like, oh shit, I didn't even know that was there. It's like, the God just is like, okay, well, you're gonna feel this one. You ready? Wake up. It turns into the greatest gift when you stop resisting. You know, like, this body is not even mine. Like, that's really the biggest illusion, is you think that this body is even yours, and it's really not. And I feel like I've just received so much compassion. Like, I'm like entering to this compassionate realm where, you know, where I can see where we have been raised, you know, by people, by domestication, by people who are also raised. But I mean raised in the sense of like raising cattle. Like, we're being raised like machines to be controlled. And if you do this, you're a good girl or a good boy. And if you do this, you're a bad boy or a bad girl. And you'll get punished and you'll get rewarded for what they want you to do. And every time that you go against the grain, you're building an identity for yourself. You know, and so every time that I don't act from what I have built for myself that was proven in the old world, and I drop and I'm surrendered into a different space, I feel that. Like, just this happened yesterday, it's happening today, you know, just constantly, where I can go into this tough, charming, manipulative person, like nice girl, rather than actually saying the thing that really needs to be said without fluff. You know, like direct messages, you know, that might hurt somebody's feelings, but it has to be said because it's actually like the deepest kindness for somebody. And when I don't do that, I'm actually not being kind to myself, you know, because that person's in a cage, and I'm like, hey, this is actually me that's in there. And so but it's all coming from a space, you know, like we have a gift here of being able to be held in such a beautiful space where we're able to bring our judgments up into the light, and we're working through our distortions and working through the things that we can be responsible for. And when you're coming from a space of like humility and love and compassion, you actually can reach in and hold someone's hand, rather than like going inside the hole with them, like empathy and being in the loop with them constantly. And so, like, I really appreciate us cultivating each other. Like, we're doing like, we're not raising each other up anymore. We're actually cultivating people to be self-determining and empowered and encouraged to be molded and shaped like God created them to be in their natural state, like you said, their natural completion. And so it's just really beautiful to be sitting there now. So I even love the fact that we even go into judgment and go into those things. I have so much compassion because people need to go through that. So it's kind of nice to see that it's all just welcomed.
Now what?
Now is what? Yeah, but I had a, like, yeah, you're not your body, right? And you're not even your thoughts, you know? That's, so, it's crazy how that's like the reality of it, but that's just like, awakening to that is like kind of like, it's not normal, like perceived normal, like in the conditioning of like life, right? Like that is so like weird, like in the way we are brought up, and it's just like, wow, but that's the actual truth of it. Like if you actually want to live the truth, like everybody here wants to live the truth. Obviously, that's why we're here, right? And there's probably similar places like this, but there's really not that many, I would imagine. Like people who want to love the truth and live the truth and actually do it. And yeah, just people like not wanting to wake up to that and just want to continue like living in their false like creation of whatever the fuck that is coming to a fall one way, like, you know, sooner or later, you know, it's gonna happen. And it's just like at what point are you gonna be in that? Because it's like I can't even like talk to those people because like they would just like attack me basically, and I would be like ostracized or whatever. So it's just like, well, I guess I'm just gonna wait. I don't really know what else to do. Like, like I mean, y'all can have that for now, but that's coming to a fucking banging stop, you know, at some point. Like, and it's like the bigger it grows, like the more identified you're gonna be with it, and like like literally like I've been through fucking hell awakening, and it's not been easy for me. And I personally know people that like are not doing that and like wouldn't even be able to like handle like the reality of that. Like couldn't even like physically like there's no way that they'd live through it. Like no, there's no way. Like so it's, you kind of just feel bad for people sometimes, you know. But yeah, it's kind of like, what else can you do? I mean, just focus on like your own process and like keep on turning your awareness inward and working on your own stuff. So yeah.
I think the biggest breakthrough for me was like stop trying to play God. Like even God needed God when he was here. I'm like, holy shit. He's like, I cannot do this. It's the Father in me who does it. So even God needed God, you know? So I'm like, it's like, hey, he's like, hey, you know, I even needed God. So, and I am God. So that's a really beautiful way to surrender into our humanness. Like I'm human, I have limitations, I'm vulnerable, I'm sensitive. And the world doesn't need more people that are tough and can get it and doing my best and work really hard. And how far is that going to get you? You know, you're going to be tired and exhausted and alone, you know?
Well, for a lot of people, that
And for
doesn't
what?
fucking matter. Like, they just want to fucking be the best and, like, feel the best and, like, want to fucking run over
But
other people.
that is true. But the reason why that they're doing that is because they think it's going to give them the thing.
Right.
So I have so much compassion for those people because they've been raised and trained to do that, thinking that they're going to get this illusion of love, to be seen and connected. Like people really just want to be connected. And they want love so much. And we've been chasing it for so long, thinking that what we do is what's going to actually get us there. And that's not what's going to happen. It's when we decide to be like, okay, I'm weak right now. I'm vulnerable right now. I'm sensitive. I can't do it. And actually ask for support. Like, we all need support. And so like that's the biggest thing in our constructed Western reality is that we don't need support. We got this. And then we move away from our families and literally rely on certain people to even raise our children. The governments and school systems and all these different things. And we barely can even make ends meet. We're living paycheck to paycheck. And literally have on so many different hats trying to make it. And we can't do it without each other. Like when we're down as a village, like somebody's right there to lift you up. In the old world, you can't have a breakdown like that. You'd lose your job, you'd lose your house, and then you get your kids taken. Like it's crazy. And so it's just constant packing and stacking, and I've got this all together until it blows up in your face one day, and it sucks. And so we just don't know what we don't know until we do. And people need more people that are going to show their vulnerability. Not this, like my multi-infinite dimensional being needs to sit the fuck down. It's like, no, I'm actually human. And I'm gonna show that I need help and I need support, and I'm that's the biggest thing that I could ever do for myself and my loved ones, because you can't do this alone. I need angels. I need God. I need my family. I need my friends. I need those people around me. That's the biggest investment that I could possibly ever do for myself. So that kind of surrender is a big type of surrender.
Yeah, it's like not pushing away the human aspects of yourself and like embracing full spirit. I mean, yeah, because you do have that. You are human, like, and it's like that balance kind of between the two. But yeah, because you can just like go into full like, spirit and just like disconnect from those parts of yourself. But yeah, it's not the way to go, I don't think.
Yeah, humility.
Yeah, that and
I'm like, if God can do it, Even God was saying that. He's like, I don't have a place to lay my head. He gave away all certain pleasures, like all these desires that we humans think that we need. And we really don't need him at all. Like, I freaked out the other day because I had to move some of Dennis's things inside the room. I'm like, he's been in the room the entire time, but there's space, an illusion of space, that he can go over there. And I'm like, well, fuck, where am I gonna, what am I going to be able to do with that, And I need space, and it's like, no, I have all the I live in space, and I can actually generate space within inside of myself, and it has nothing to do with the room. It had to do with me not being aware of the space that I'm in. And I was just like, oh, fuck. I was like,
boom. The space being a way of being internally.
Yes. And so I'm like, okay, all right. And it was like, because that was another preference, that was another thing that I wanted, like, like a just in case, like, and it's like, no, we're going to break that down. And it was the greatest gift to be able to see that, because I'm like, wow, I need to really just focus on my way of being and live in humility. Like, if I'm not living in humility, then what is all this for? you know, like,
Well, I think like what you're distinguishing like is tying to commitment, and this is where I see surrendering as being like something we definitely choose, and because we can choose to surrender, we can choose to commit to having like cooperating or being compassionate or having a way of being of surrendering. We can commit to something like that and then come from that. But I think often it isn't acknowledged that we even have capacity to make commitment and then additionally follow through with that commitment.
yeah, but what's interesting is that once you make that commitment, you're literally met with the exact opposite, so you can transcend it. And to see like, oh, okay, well, now that you're calling in this energy, I'm going to give you the exact opposite opportunity. And what are you going to do? Are you going to react or respond? God's like, are you really going to, do you really want this or no? You know, so it's really interesting, like, the way that somebody's acting is not in a direct response to who you are. It's how you respond is who you are. And I'm like, oh, snap. And the thing that you judge, you instantly become like the person that's cutting you off on the freeway, you know, and you judge them and flip a finger off. Guess what? The next day, you're cutting somebody else off and you're that fucker that you just flipped off. You know, so it's like, once we start owning and start being responsible for everything that's showing up, especially our judgments, and say, that's me, that's when the real transcendence happens. That's when oneness really happens and then duality goes away. It doesn't mean that duality is not present. It's just that you're now not living from a conditioned mind.
And that feels freeing.
What did she say?
That what you distinguish feels freeing, and the freeing feeling is that transcendence of the mind, of the brain, of the duality.
Yeah, but the only way to get to it is through it. And so it's through direct experience of you choosing and surrendering each and every time to respond in a way that is owning it and loving it. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, I said people make it really fucking hard too.
I know.
That's a belief.
It can be super hard.
That's a belief.
You could actually do it in like 5 seconds. You could do it instantly. You can literally do it like in an instant and tap into that divine intelligence, right meow. Or you can make it super hard and like read all the books and go to all the coaches and it never ever work out. And you keep working on yourself rather than
Yes.
in yourself. The only way out is in.
And on that note, let's go in. Let's now step into a mode of operandus, of being in a more masculine, structured channel, which is the channel of giving and receiving offers. The inward part is tapping into the internal heart, tapping into, hey, what's going on inside of this physical body? What's going on internally right now in this moment? What am I feeling? And then from that feeling, generate an offer that is a gift, that is something that's on purpose. And it might not be the purpose, but it is a step of purpose in the journey of this human experience. And so feel into this, feel into an offer that's inside of you that if someone were to receive this offer, it would be an upgrade, it'd be a contribution, it'd be an enhancement that possibly just in the receiving of the offer could literally alter their decision by committing to something that didn't exist before you spoke. And so with that, we're going to have 2 minutes each. Is there someone that's like really inspired, like you got something right now, like you want to make an offer? Cole or Sarah, do you got something?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So feel into your heart. Have a product or a service, a price, some way that they can connect with you. Have it be tangible, something somebody can receive. You have 2 minutes starting right now. Go.
The greatest decision of my life was to live a life of purpose. And not like a life of purpose of like trying to survive, but a life of purpose to be flourished and fulfilled in every single area of my life. My health, my wealth, my spiritual connection, my relationships, my happiness. I really started to look at those and say, hey, this is not operating at like 100%. And I chose to start walking in that direction. And I met up with a community that decided to establish God's kingdom here on earth. And I started heading that direction. And I started to have these deep dive conversations with one of my mentors here, and you can't do this alone. And when I decided to walk hand in hand with these amazing people, I started having these amazing conversations, these deep dive conversations, and started applying them inside of my life. And so I have a channel on YouTube called the On Purpose Podcast with myself and Kirk McDowell. And there's resources on there. It's completely free. And this is an offering just from my heart to contribute to people about what we're up to and how to live a life of purpose and how you can also be flourished and fulfilled in all of those areas. And so it's a gift. It's a free gift for you. And it'll be in the description box for you. Thank you.
Amazing. On time too. Come on. Are you feeling something, Cole? All right, received. You're invited to join virtual natural balance masterclass. These are happening Wednesdays at 5:30 Central Standard Time. So you're here. You're invited. These happen on Wednesdays, and you're welcome to come and join. And then I also invite you to an in-person event. This in-person event is specifically designed for people that are on the spiritual path, that are leading people, that are event facilitators. But like you have this like internal feeling that like there's another step, but you're not entirely sure what that step is, and you feel like you're plateaued. And I'm here offering you that step. And that step is the up-level ceremony, which is an in-person event here live, feet on the earth, literally, in Earthquake and Grace 2 Village. And this is up in the mountains, and it's rural. And there's clouds, and there's a view of the ocean, and there's a view of the town of San Isidro. And this is a 7-day event where the first 5 days of this event, there's no food, it's in silence, and there's also some body movement in those 5 days to assist with meditation and just maintaining looseness in the body. The dates of this event are December 27th, 2024. That's the start date. The end date is January 2nd, 2025. And the minimum donation to like secure your spot, to secure your like, boom, I'm in, that donation is $333. And the link's in the description. Just make that donation, send me a message, and I do have a cap of the amount of people that can actually attend. That number currently is 26 people now. So that's maximum. So if you're gonna be there, make that donation, and then we'll conversate. With that, we are 2 minutes early in the illusion of time, and thank you, Cole, for being here and opening your heart up and expressing and being inquisitive tonight. Like you asked me some questions, and I like actually went inside. Like I dug into what was going on in here from questions you asked. So thank you for that. Thank you, Sarah Jean, for being here and just sharing your heart, like expressing. With that, I love you, I honor you. You are the gift, and it's not because I say so, it's because it's inherent. Peace.